Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about the Duffman Meltdown. If you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend you just get on Google and type in Duffman Meltdown. I didn't link it in the description because I'm pretty sure it's copyrighted material, and even linking to copyrighted material is a violation of the YouTube Terms of Service. I'll TLDR it for you. Duffman, who is a codcaster and streamer, had a huge meltdown on stream after he'd been drinking and basically lashed into followers on his Twitch, because he does Twitch, that aren't subscribed. He's like, you've been watching me for 8 months. F you should subscribe to me. This is a shame. You think this content is free. A lot of nasty stuff. That's a very short paraphrasing of the whole entire thing. He wanted to launch a shirt line when we hit so many followers, blah, 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 blah. And as nasty as that was, it's something that I can empathize with as a content creator. This is definitely not a Duffman support video. I'm actually going to criticize him a lot, but it kind of hit home for me in a very, very personal way, because I had to make this decision very early into YouTube that I should not depend on subscriptions, donations, or sort of sponsorship purchases for my income, because you just can't. You can't for a variety of reasons. Number one is that YouTube and Twitch and all these other sort of streaming sites are ultimately free content sites. The fact that the content was free, it was easily accessible and open to anyone, is what made it popular. You don't have to pay for it. You don't need special programs, subscriptions, anything. Okay, so maybe you pay for it with watching the advertisements. It's a little bit annoying, but that's all over the internet, and a lot of us run ad blocker anyway, so we don't deal with that. But people started doing this for fun. I personally started doing YouTube purely for fun. I just enjoyed it. I've always liked making videos and little art projects and sharing my opinion and, analyzing things like that ever since I was a little kid, so it was a natural extension for me. I literally had no idea that there could be a career on this, and when I got to that point, which I'll talk about later, but even once I hit that point to where I realized I could have a career, the decision was still the same, that the content should be free, because this is a platform about having fun and kind of creating a voice for yourself, and not about squeezing your subscribers and followers for every single dollar that they have. A lot of people look at it like, I've got so many thousand followers or million or whatever, if I monetize this, this, and this, and I hit this demographic, and I squeeze here, and I push there, and I beg that, I get the most money. And I never really thought that was a good way to do it. It just seemed very dishonest, morally corrupt maybe, or abusive perhaps, because it's a completely free optional relationship that we have, not even like a real relationship. And I also felt that all of these platforms will fail almost instantly if they ever go paid. Like, if YouTube ever moves into the paid only service, or Twitch or MLG or Hitbox or any of the Dailymotion, whatever, if any of these internet type services ever move into it where they have to be monetized, where they have to be paid, where they're no longer free, then they're just going to flop. They're just going to go, they're going to die, and we're going to move on to the next best thing, because all media is moving toward paid or cheap. I mean, look at Netflix. It's incredibly cheap. It's like $7 a month. It's almost free at this point. All of the more popular streaming sites, we're getting less and less cable subscribers. Theater attendance is actually up. I think that's just because movies are getting better over time. But the general trend in media is toward instant access and either very, very low cost or free. And if I go against that grain, then it's just going to be a complete fail for me. To TLDR my own criticism of Duffman, it's completely morally wrong on a variety of reasons to really push your subscribers or followers to do things that they might not necessarily want to do, especially if it's not something that they don't get benefit from. And the other thing is, and this is my empathize with him, how I understand how he can be to this part, streaming, YouTubing, all this sort of stuff, income is by no means stable. Yes, of course, there are superstars that make millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands or just crazy amounts of money, but the vast majority of people, myself included, aren't there yet. And the ad value goes up and down. It's like the stock market. Every month it's liable to change. Views are liable to change. Some months you boom really big. Some months is the worst thing ever. You have projects blow up. You have some go good, some go bad. And my personal income has gone from, oh my gosh, I should buy a car, to, oh my gosh, we're gonna eat macaroni and cheese all month, because it can be just those two extremes, like as ridiculous as it can get. So before you even do this, before you step out into this as like a career, you have to know what you're gambling with. You have to know how unstable it can get, and you have to know that even if you hit that rock bottom, that bare minimum line, that it's going to be enough for you and you won't have to push back on your subscribers as a fallback plan. Your fallback plan in life shouldn't be begging your subs for money. It shouldn't be getting them to sign up for services like subscriptions on Twitch. I love my Twitch subs. I really do, but it's completely optional. I don't really push for it or anything, and people do it anyway. But I do empathize, because I had to make this gamble too. I left a career and I gambled big time. I quit my career, degree, all that stuff, moved across the country, and decided to do YouTube, and it got down to where I had $300 in my bank account, and that was it. I know I do have some younger followers here, but for those of us that are in college or adults, you'll know that $300 left with no savings and nothing at all is not going to take you very far in the real world. That's not adult big boy money, and I took a big gamble, but it worked out for me. But I could have lost everything, but I was prepared to lose everything and not push back on my subs and beg for stuff. So that's just kind of how it panned out. It worked for me. Actually, you know what? In doing this video, I realized I'm being a little bit hypocritical, because I do remember a time when I was in college where I had 2 computers die back to back, and like all my college, I had to pay my own college, all those bills come up, everything come up at once, and I had just quit my job to do YouTube part-time in college when everything fell apart, and I actually did ask for donations for a computer, but I feel like instead of getting mad and yelling at people, I made it very clear that it was optional, or that it was a kindness and it would be appreciated. And it was very different. I guess being drunk and yelling at people on stream is of course going to be very different than being earnest with people. And that's just kind of something I wanted to talk about, because it really hit home. That kind of, I could see the desperation on Duffman's face. I just felt like he had serious bills to pay, and it was the only way he could see forward to do this. So I understand why he got drunk. I understand why he melted down and yelled at people. But that's not the thing that we're doing here on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. It's all free for anybody, regardless. No paywalls, no geographic or language descriptions. If you want to enjoy gaming content, it's completely free for you, and that's the way I want to keep it for the future. And that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. It was a little personal for me, but I hope you can relate as well. As always, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.